Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you are doing well, and it is time for another edition of our weekly track roundup, where I go over tracks that dropped over this past week that I thought were pretty good, pretty not so good. Let's get into it. First, I want to give a shout out to, once again, our continued sponsor on the channel, the good people over at Ridge Wallet. They make these nifty metal-plated minimalist wallets that fit nicely in your front pocket. Minimalist wallet gang! I just want everyone to know that I went on a West Coast tour recently, brought this thing with me, rocked it the whole way. It held up like a brick! And yeah, you yourself can make the switch today, hitting the link down below in the description box. Use promo code MELON to get 10% off your order. And yeah, that's it. Also down there are our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links. If you want to hit those up, treat yourself, especially that Turntable Lab link one. Get a colorful pressing of a record we have covered on the channel. We get kickback from it, supports the segment and all that, all the reviews. And let's get into the worst tracks of the week. First off, kicking it with YG Do Not Disturb with Kamaya and G-Eazy. It is like a bland, uninteresting version of what he was doing on his Still Brazy album. Very sad to hear it, given I was hoping for a return to form on his new project, and I love that record so much. And it's just kind of a bit of a loss, in my opinion, to hear YG going down the watered down and mainstream path, because he was beginning to grow into a rapper that really had kind of a voice and style of his own. I also want to give a shout out to this new and almost completely pointless new collaboration between Joyner Lucas and none other than Logic, Bobby Tarantino himself. They rap fast over a generic beat, and there's not really much in the way of a lyrical focus in any way, shape, or form, even though the track is titled ISIS. And there are a few lines that refer to that, but yeah, it's just basically fast, rippity rap for people who like their hip-hop with a lot of speed, but not a whole lot of substance. And also the new Ed Sheeran cut featuring Chance the Rapper and PNB Rock. It's absolutely obnoxious trash, not really much in the way of composure to it either. It's just a really annoying combination of voices and sounds and styles that I would have rather never heard in my entire life, and yet it exists, and yet it exists. All right, let's move into the tracks that I thought were kind of meh. Still worth mentioning, though. First off, this new collaborative cut from Young Thug, J. Cole, and Travis Scott. Surprisingly, there's a good amount of chemistry between these three on this track, and they complement each other pretty well, and Young Thug's performance on the song is really over the top and insane. The downside is the beat is kind of mediocre, and there's not really that much in the way of like a strong song to it or anything like that. But still, Young Thug, J. Cole, and Travis Scott on track miraculously kind of makes sense. Moving on from there, a new track from Rec and Reference. This project you guys might remember I've covered before on the channel. They've embraced some elements of experimental rock and industrial rock and noise and experimental music as well in the past. And this new cut over here is very much a slow burner, very droney, very bass heavy, very strange. Not sure entirely what to make of it, really, but I'm slightly intrigued by this new cut. Didn't love it. I felt it kind of drew on a little bit too long, and that its intentions were kind of cloudy, but still, I guess some of the more experimental, noisy bits in the track definitely piqued my interest and make me wonder where this project's next record is going to go. Moving on from there, a new cut from Dolla featuring J. Cole, Purple Emoji. It's a kind of cool and devilish combination of R&B and modern hip-hop. Nothing too memorable from Ty, in my opinion. Not one of his best tunes, but it seems to be performing pretty well online. Moving on from there, Steve Lacy, whose new track, Hate CD, I'm also going to put in here. I'm not going to talk too much about this cut, honestly, because I do plan on reviewing this new album this week, but definitely wanted to make you guys aware that Steve Lacy of the internet, multi-instrumentalist, producer, a guy who's been getting a lot of praise for some of his production placements on some key hip-hop records over the past few years or so. New record out, new album out, so try it out, give it a shot. See what you think of it before I end up talking about it. Moving on from there, the Flaming Lips have a brand new track out as well. Giant Baby is the title of it, and it's a pretty strange, patience testing, but funny new song with some ridiculous lyrics. Not one of my favorite tunes I think they've ever put out, but still pretty entertaining all around. Moving on from there, a track from the band Dungen. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't think I've ever covered this group in depth before, even though as a psychedelic rock outfit, they have been around for quite a while. And this new song over here titled Var Har Du Varit is a nice, smooth, jazzy, trippy combination of sounds, although it is very middle of the road and light on the ears, sort of like elevator music or something like that. But it's at least pretty and kaleidoscopic elevator music, I'll say that much. And also, let's give a shout out to Clairo with her new track Bags. I appreciate a little bit the homegrown bedroom pop aesthetic of her previous cuts, but now that it seems like she's getting a bit more attention and obviously a bit more of a budget behind her music, it's like she's just pretty much making straightforward meat and potatoes, average, everyday, somewhat depressed indie rock. And I don't know, in the grander scheme of things, in my view, it doesn't really stick out. Nor is the songwriting, in my opinion, as memorable as some of the viral tracks she has dropped so far. But I don't know, hoping for songs that are more memorable in the future and instrumental palettes that are a bit more adventurous and quirky. This very humdrum guitar, percussion, vocal combo is not really doing too much for me, especially since the instruments are played so apathetically. You know, I feel like it's one thing to have guitars and drums and vocals, and it's another thing to have underwhelming guitars and drums and vocals. Let's move into the tracks that I thought were the best this week, the best tracks this week. First, want to give a shout out to ZelooperZ, a Detroit rapper who is affiliated with Danny Brown's Bruiser Brigade crew. He has a brand new track out titled Easter Sunday 97 featuring Earl Sweatshirt, which for both of them is a pretty uplifting and positive track. It's kind of interesting to see both of them getting a little nostalgic and kind of positive and a little upbeat and warm-hearted in their performances. I wish it was longer. That's really my most major complaint. Slayyyter has come through with a brand new atmospheric and very strange Britney Spears cover of all things, believe it or not, of the track Everytime. It's actually pretty beautiful and strange, if I didn't use that word already, or maybe I did. Either way, strange. Moving on from there, Mannequin Pussy, a project that I have given a shout out before, even though it is pretty average power pop sonically. I think the lyrics and the vocal delivery are pretty bold and pretty in your face in this new track over here. Who You Are has a lot of attitude and is pretty compelling. Lyrically, narratively, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of heartache, a lot of emotion being just splattered onto the canvas like blood from someone's slit throat. Also want to mention here the new Denzel Curry single Speedboat. Didn't love it as much as Ricky, the previous single to his forthcoming Zoo project, but still another melodic, hard-hitting banger with compelling, charismatic verses and rapping. Denzel just continues to kill it and brings a lot of personality and energy and anything else likable that you would want in a hip-hop song to a hip-hop song. So, yeah, shout out to Denzel. Keep it up. Moving on from there, Lingua Ignota has a new record on the way that has been getting quite a bit of buzz in the underground music community, in the metal community. It's coming out via Profound Lore Records. I believe it was a year or two ago that her breakthrough record was kind of making the rounds on Bandcamp and was turning a lot of heads for how abrasive and shocking the album was. And ever since, she has been kind of blowing a lot of people away with her intense live performances. And definitely going to be keeping an eye and an ear out for this new project that she has on the way. The title of this new song over here is Butcher of the World. And it's got some really twisted vocal performances, some really unsettling, noisy, sort of droney bits as well. It's kind of heavy, it's kind of harrowing. The back end is definitely not as full as the front end, but it's still a pretty intriguing composition. And looking forward to seeing where else she goes with her teaser tracks going forward for this new album. Moving on from there, Flying Lotus has dropped what I think is maybe my favorite track from his album that is now out. Going to be reviewing it soon. Not going to talk too much about this song in length, but it is the new track featuring Denzel Curry, Black Balloon Surprise. Goes hard. Denzel kills it. Okay, not going to say anything else as I plan on reviewing this very soon. Moving on from there, Ezra Furman, whose punked out approach to garage rock has been flying under my radar for, I guess, a little bit. He has a new track out here titled Calm Down, aka I Should Not Be Alone, which is attached to a kind of genius animated music video as well that I like a lot. A lot of attitude coming off the vocals and guitars, pretty badass performance, and yeah, just all around a good garage punk tune. Esther Rose is also an artist, a country artist, who has been flying under my radar for a little bit. She's got this track out with a music video titled Only Loving You, and it is so freaking cute. It is so freaking cute. I can't get over how cute it is. And it's just a lovely tune as well. Very earnest and pretty and straightforward vocals on the track, very rich and authentic country instrumentation. Don't know what else to say about. Don't know what else to say about this track other than that it's lovely, it's pretty, it's wonderful. Definitely touched me right in the feels. Also want to give a shout out to this new DJ Premier track that dropped a little bit over a week ago. I forgot to mention it in the last weekly track roundup, but Headlines featuring Westside Gunn, who's been making quite a bit of buzz lately, Conway and Benny. DJ Premier brings a pretty heavy and badass beat in his usual style, of course throwing it back a little bit. Westside Gunn, Conway, and Benny bring some tough as nails verses. Westside Gunn's definitely sticks out the most, though. Do not give this one, the pass or anything like that. Make sure to hit it up if you're a hip-hop head. And also want to give a shout out to this artist over here that I am just now coming upon after maybe seeing her featured a few times along with other artists that I follow on Instagram. Her name is Bree Runway. Two On is the name of her new track and music video over here. It is criminally under trafficked. There's not a whole lot of views on this song right now, and I'm a little head over heels for it. Her sound and her style is kind of like a combination of hip hop and pop and art pop and a little bit of like noise and industrial in there. It's really just kind of strange and intense and freaky, but also like lots of energy, lots of attitude, pretty exciting as well. And yeah, she just like totally kills it in the song and music video, totally slays. And I don't know what else to say. I think I'll just leave it at that. She just kind of seems like a very bold, interesting, exciting new face whose work I am going to be looking out for, given how thrilling this new track was. Also want to give a shout out to Bill Callahan, who has actually dropped 6 new songs from his like new full-length album coming out very soon. The one that stood out to me is the Ballad of the Hulk. Not nearly as lavish as some of Bill's productions off of his recent records or anything like that, but still very, rustic acoustic guitars, pretty balladry, Bill's deep, authoritative voice with its gentle tone and its just easygoing demeanor, kind of spell binds with the lyrical twists and turns that he takes on this track. Shout out to Bill Callahan. Shout out to Smog. Shout out to all of the indie folk weirdos who have somehow made it this far and are still dropping credible and worthwhile records today. And that has been it for our weekly track roundup, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. You can hit up another video over there in the featured or next to my head. We will link you to that or a link to subscribe to the channel. And remember, everything that I brought up in this video, it's linked down there in the description box. You can check it out down there. so you don't miss a beat, so you don't miss a song. And we'll catch you guys very soon, very soon. New reviews coming this week, new reviews, so stay patient. Anthony Fantano, Weekly Track Roundup, forever.